on loving kindness, also known as the Metta Sutta. Feel free to chant along if you'd like, and if you'd like to just sit and listen, that's absolutely okay as well. This is what should be done by one who is skilled in goodness and who knows the path of peace. Let them be able and upright, straightforward and gentle in speech, humble and not conceited, content and easily satisfied, unburdened with duties and frugal in their ways, peaceful and calm and wise and skillful, not proud and demanding in nature. Let them not do the slightest thing that the wise would later prove. Wishing in gladness and in safety, may all beings be at ease. Whatever living beings there may be, whether they are weak or strong, omitting none, the great or the mighty, medium, short or small, the seen and unseen, those living near and far away, those born and to be born, may all beings be at ease. Let none deceive another, or despise any being in any state. Let none through anger or ill will wish harm upon another. Even as a parent protects their life, their child, their only child, so with a boundless heart should one cherish all living beings, radiating kindness over the entire world, spreading upwards to the skies and downwards to the depths, onwards and unbounded, free from hatred and ill will. Whether standing or walking, seated or lying down, free from drowsiness, one should sustain this recollection. Thank you, Winya. So we sit in calm and silent meditation until the beginning of the service. This time I'd like to invite our incense lighters up to the front. And for the rest of us, if we'll turn to page 2 in our books, about halfway down, we'll be saying the incense lighting gatha together. In gratitude, we offer this incense throughout space and time to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. May it be fragrant as earth herself, reflecting careful efforts, wholehearted awareness, and the fruit of understanding slowly ripening. May we and all beings be companions of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. May we awaken from forgetfulness and realize our true home. Before we get started, I just want to let everybody know that if this is your first time here, we do have restrooms through the curtain over there, as well as downstairs. Through this curtain here, we have an extra restroom, water fountain, and if you do need to step away for any reason, you can go down there as well. We also ask that if you do need to get up at any time, that you just move through the back instead of kind of cutting through the front here. As you enter or leave, just to give a bow, help us to create a sacred space here at the temple. With that, why don't we stand up and greet each other and get ready for our first round of changes. So we'll be on page 3. We'll be doing the 3 refuge chants. I go for refuge to Buddha, my deeply awakened mind, the living source of understanding and compassion, which must be cultivated to be known fully. I go for refuge to Dharma, the path of mindful living, leading to healing, joy, and enlightenment, the way of peace, which must be cultivated to be known fully. I go for refuge to Sangha, the loving and supportive community of practice, realizing harmony, awareness, and liberation, which must be cultivated to be known fully. I am aware that the 3 jewels are within my heart. I vow to realize them. I vow to practice mindful breathing and smiling, looking deeply into things. I vow to understand living beings and their suffering. I vow to cultivate loving kindness and compassion, and to practice joy and equanimity. I vow to offer joy to one person in the morning, and to help relieve the grief of one person in the afternoon. I vow to live simply and sanely, content with few possessions, and to keep my body healthy. I vow to let go of all worry and anxiety in order to be light and free. I am aware that I owe so much to my parents, teachers, friends, and all beings. I vow to be worthy of their trust, to practice wholeheartedly, so that understanding and compassion will flower, and I can help living beings be free from their suffering. May the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha support my efforts. May the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha support my efforts. May the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha support my efforts. If we can turn to the next page, we'll do the Heart Sutra together. Of great compassion, from the deep practice of prajna, paramita, perceive the emptiness of all 5 skandhas, and deliver all beings from their suffering. Shariputra. Form is no other than emptiness. Emptiness no other than form. Form is emptiness, emptiness form. The same is true of feeling, thought, impulse, and consciousness. O Shariputra, all dharmas are empty. They are not born nor annihilated. They are not defiled nor immaculate. They do not increase nor decrease. So in emptiness, no form, no feeling, no thought, no impulse, no consciousness. No eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind. No form, sound, smell, taste, touch, or objects of mind. No realm of sight, no realm of consciousness. No ignorance, nor extinction of ignorance. No old age and death, nor extinction of them. No suffering, no cause of suffering, no cease from suffering, no path to lead out of suffering, no knowledge, no attainment, no realization, for there is nothing to attain. The Bodhisattva holds on to nothing but prajna, paramita. Therefore, the mind is clear of any delusive hindrance. Without hindrance, there is no fear. Away from all delusive views, one reaches final nirvana. All Buddhas of past, present, and future, through faith in prajna, paramita, attain to the highest perfect enlightenment. Know then the prajna, paramita, the radiant, fearless mantram, the utmost supreme mantram, which is capable of allaying all pain. This is true beyond all doubt. Proclaim now the highest wisdom, the prajna, paramita. Gate, gate, paragate, parasamgate, bodhisvaha. Gate, gate, paragate, parasamgate, bodhisvaha. Gate, gate, paragate, parasamgate, bodhisvaha. Dhamma, prajna, paramita, hridaya, sutra. Thank you. Be seated. We chant the Heart Sutra every week, so most of you should be familiar with it. If you're new,
This is a little bit of a tangent, but I always like to talk about the first line of the Heart Sutra because I feel like a lot of people say the entirety of the Dharma can be expressed in the Heart Sutra, and I like to say the entirety of the Heart Sutra can be expressed within the first line of the Heart Sutra. So the Bodhisattva of great compassion, also sometimes translated as Avalokiteshvara, while deeply practicing Prajnaparamita, received the emptiness of all five skandhas and delivered all beings from their suffering. To, I guess, translate it a little further, the Bodhisattva of great compassion, Avalokiteshvara, Guan Yin, who we have all the way on the end, is known as the Bodhisattva of compassion, or the embodiment of compassion. It's the one we call upon when we need a little bit of compassion in our lives. And I think whenever you see their name, you could just swap it out with compassion itself. And so you could say the Heart Sutra is just when you have great compassion. And the next line from the deep practice of Prajnaparamita. Prajnaparamita is translated as perfect wisdom, or perfection of wisdom. You notice it says practicing this perfect wisdom. So it's not just something you kind of sit on and ponder about, but it is the action of working in wisdom. And then the next line, perceive that the emptiness of all five skandhas. The five skandhas, or the five aggregates as they're sometimes called, is kind of a way to, in Indian philosophy, boil down what is the experience of being alive. The things that we feel, the things that we think, our body itself performs. Basically every single aspect of our experience of life can be broken down into these five different attributes. And in the Heart Sutra, it says that through compassion and this practice of great wisdom, we've seen that all of these are essentially empty. And emptiness in Buddhism doesn't mean nihilism, or that they don't matter, or that there's nothing there. Think of it more as an ever-changing, bottomless pit of possibility. That the things that make up your experience are ever-changing, and you really can't hold on to them too. The minute that you try to grasp onto them, you kind of lose them. Almost like ripples or incense coming off of smoke going off of the incense sticks. And then the last line, and thus it delivered all beings from their suffering. So to put it all together, I would say that when you have great compassion, and with that great compassion, you practice with great wisdom. So you need both. You can think about what happens when you don't have one or the other. It's a disaster. We've all known people that are very compassionate, but they don't have any wisdom at all. And quickly burn themselves out or get taken advantage of, right? On the other hand, we have people that might be very, very wise, but there's no compassion behind that wisdom. And perhaps they kind of miss that human element in all their decisions. But when we have the compassion and the perfect wisdom practicing together, two things happen. One, we see the world as this ever-changing, empty place of innumerable possibilities, and in that practice is how we deliver all beings from their suffering. So, I like to think that's at the heart of all Buddhist teachings: is how do we become more compassionate? How do we practice with wisdom? How do we see the world as it is? And we're doing all this so that we can help relieve the suffering of the entire world. So, really, that's just about everything there. So, hopefully, next time we chant that, you'll know a little bit more. My name's Sonshin. I use they, them pronouns. It's nice to see all of you. I wasn't expecting to speak to you all today. The person who was going to speak was feeling ill, so I decided to step in. So I don't have anything prepared, so it's a little awkward. It's okay. I'm good at riffing. So I thought instead of delivering a Dharma talk, I would just ramble on about my cats. Is that okay? Do any of you have any cats?
Yeah.
Awesome. I have 2 cats.
Is your mic on?
Oh, I was not the whole
yeah.
time.
Now you're gonna have to
for
repeat
catching that.
everything for the people at
Oh, you
home.
know what? That was the bonus content, the ones that arrived. I said nothing wise at all, it's okay. So I had 2 cats. I have a picture of them actually. It's a very small picture, but I'll pass it around if you like, okay? So the younger one, the black and white cat, their name is Mu, M-U, named after the Japanese word for emptiness, like I just went over, or negation, or nothingness. It comes from a very famous koan of, does a dog have Buddha nature? And the answer is Mu, nothing at all. And the other cat, their name is Donut, named after donuts. Here. I'm so happy to have cats. I'm also a multi-generational cat lover. I would like to say that I gained my love of cats from my grandmother. Growing up, I remember her cat, her cat's name was Gato. We were a Mexican family, so if you put 2 and 2 together, the cat's name was just Cat. Which is okay. They were a really cute tortie, it was like a tortie with a like a calico mix, so it was like very abstract and vibrant. She was a cool cat. I also remember too that she loved cats all her life, and even when she was on her deathbed, she luckily got to be home for that, and her cats were by her at all times. And the only thing that she wanted is since she couldn't go outside with her cats and bird watch, she had my uncle set up like a bird feeder camera and then stream it on the TV in front of the bed. And so she got to watch her cats watch the birds and maybe watch the birds herself. I like to think that most good lessons, at least that we can learn from our cats. And if you are a dog lover, I'm really sorry. I won't have a lot to say today. But if you ever get to hear my teacher speak, Suji, they're the dog person. And they have many dog-related lessons. So they are out there. And I'm hoping most of the things I say about cats can be transferred over to a lot of things. So there's still something for you, I'm sure. There's a lot of things that I've learned from cats in general. I want to say the very first lesson, having been born into a family that already had a cat, it was a orange cat, which if you know, you know. They had the attitude of an orange cat. I didn't name this cat, and looking back, maybe this wasn't the best name for this cat, but the cat's name was Haji. So a Haji is somebody who is on the pilgrimage to Mecca. My family was not Islamic, so their excuse was they really loved, my father really loved the cartoon Johnny Quest. I don't know if there's anybody from the older generation who remembers that cartoon, but he had a friend named Haji, which I could probably say a lot about that, but I just think of my cat when I hear that. And I remember probably the first lesson my cat ever taught me was patience. So I will ask you, how do you pet a dog?
Just go for it.
You just go for it, right? They'll probably be on top of you before you even get a chance to pet them. How do you pet a cat?
And a matter of fact, if you're meeting a new cat and you walk right up to it and be like, oh, you're gonna find very quickly that they're gonna run away or swipe at you or bite at you. It's about creating that space where they can feel comfortable. It's about sitting and waiting for the cat to come to you. I feel there's a lot of people that are like this, and a lot of situations that are like this too. Even all the way down to the big questions of, how do I find happiness? Sometimes the answer is not to chase it. Sometimes the answer is, well, how can you create a space where it can come up gradually, slowly, right? How can you learn to be patient and wait for it and to see it? And when it arrives, how can you not get so excited that it gets freaked out and runs away? Probably the biggest lesson there. I've also learned to listen attentively. When petting the cat, they'll quickly let you know, yes, they're absolutely not there. It's a constant listening. Yeah, thank you. A constant listening to the body language, so sort of unspoken words. I like to remember that humans, thank you so much. Humans develop language, I guess pretty late in the scheme of animals in general. And we like to think that that is the pinnacle of communication. But I like to think that maybe it's just the frosting on top, because most of the things that are communicated aren't spoken. And a lot of us tend to forget that sometimes. And unfortunately, when you look at how most of us communicate, whether it's through text messages or typing comments on things, I would say 95% of communication is lost. And that should be very obvious to anybody who's ever gotten in an unexpected argument online or was misunderstood. I like to think too, probably one of the hard lessons that cats teach us is grief. For most of us as children who grew up with pets, the very first experience with death comes from our pets. Unfortunately, cats don't live as long as humans. I also say, as somebody who's lost both human family and animal family, maybe this is a hot take, but losing the pets hurts a whole lot more. I have a couple of theories as to why. One is, when you have a human family member pass away, there is a lot that's established in our culture and community to come together and help with that. You get the cards, you get the funerals, you get the memorial services. We've learned, the traditions of grieving have been passed down. Also, usually when we lose human family members, we get to share in that grief, because these are people that touched many people in our lives. I know that when my grandmother passed, she left behind, 3 generations of people, of friends in her community. She was always out and about, was not a homebody. And so there was a whole community of people that could come together and support each other. But I will never forget when my cat Zoe passed away. It was during it was around the pandemic. So as many of you kind of know, not only were we not able to go outside, we were all kind of stuck, but I'm sure our pets loved it. Like, finally you get to just stay here and pet me and feed me 24 hours a day. But when Zoe passed away, there were really only 2 people in her life, and that was me and my partner. It was really hard, because that was a love and a relationship that there was nobody else in the world that really understood or got, right? Maybe other people have that with their cats. That was a grief that I had to sort of handle all on my own. I didn't have the community to help with, which can be hard and it can be different. I will give a tangent here too, that on October 26th, which is 2 Sundays from now, maybe? I don't know. Don't be bad too hard. We have our Ulumbana potluck day, and Ulumbana Day, also known as the Hungry Ghost Festival, is a time that we remember those that have passed, including our animal families. And so now's the time to kind of start thinking back on, the people and the furry people that have passed. Also on that day, I think it would be really nice if we all brought an item or a picture or something that reminded us of somebody that has passed. Maybe a few people have passed, whether they be human or animal, to kind of help commemorate that day. So we'll talk about it more. Another thing that my animals have taught me is that sometimes what you see on the surface is not the whole story. Moo and Donut tolerate each other really well. We had Donut first, and we messed up. We didn't get 2 cats at the same time, which if you're gonna get 2 cats, it's probably a good idea to get them at the same time. And Donut definitely had the older sibling syndrome where they're like, who the hell is this person in my life right now? It took a very long time for them to get along. But they get along for the most part now. They do like to fight a whole lot. I won't say asshole in the temple, but Moo is one. And Moo likes to attack Donut all often. Mostly it's in play. But as we've found out over time, for instance, 2 days ago, we have an automatic cat feeder that puts out food. There is one critical flaw with our automatic cat feeder, and that is if the food runs out, it stops delivering food. So you should really figure that one out. And in the morning, we woke up and Moo was just terrorizing Donut over and over again, just like biting her on the neck, like she was yelling, chasing her all over the house, and we're like, what is going on? What is happening? And we looked over and we saw that the feeder was completely empty. Moo doesn't communicate well, but they communicate strongly. There was a problem. They didn't have any breakfast. And if you have a cat, that is probably the worst thing a cat can experience in life, is to not have breakfast. And guess what happened as soon as we put breakfast in front of them? The fighting was over. How many people in your life are fighting constantly because they don't have their breakfast? Literally and metaphorically. And it wouldn't have been enough just to say, stop fighting. Split it apart. We need to adjust their needs. I'll never forget too that we had our cats just out of nowhere. They don't usually do this, but they were just scratching at the side of the couch. I'm like, what is going on? Like, why are you doing this? And I looked around and realized I don't see any little teeny toy mice anywhere. They have plenty of toys, more than they need. But this day they're all gone. And so we have an old house, as many people in Michigan do. We've got the old radiators. And so I took a hanger from the closet, and I've probably done what most people with cats have done at some point in their life who also have radiators. I swept it under the radiator, and out came about 57 toys. And instantly they stopped scratching at the couch because they had what they need. Again, just like I said about the Heart Sutra, when we see the world as it is, when we see what's behind the problems, the emptiness of all the skandhas of the world, it brings immediate compassion. I wasn't angry at my cat for scratching. I was seeing this as a miscommunication. They don't know how to speak English yet. They do know dinner, and they know outside. Those are the 2 words they know, but they can't speak them yet. They're working on. But they communicate in ways that they can. And that's not just a cat thing. This is a human thing too. When somebody is angry with you, when they're short with you, when they're tearing you down, maybe it's a miscommunication. Maybe there's something else going on in their life, something they haven't learned how to speak yet, something they haven't learned how to deal with yet. And if you can see behind the words, instantly, not only is there compassion for that person, but there's also a method of how to teach them to be better, right? And maybe that teaching is just to realize your own shortcomings and try to be a good model, right? Maybe that teaching is just being patient with them and being like, it's okay, be angry with me because I understand there's a lot going on and maybe there's not words right now for this. Words can only get you so far. I would say the last lesson that my cats give me, and they give me this every day, is the actual meaning of love with no bounds and no conditions. And this is not just a cat thing. I will admit this is probably a dog thing too. I'll admit my bias, but I'll concede that. Cats aren't caught up with all the sort of, things that humans are all caught up on. They don't care. They don't care if you're having a bad day. They don't care if you're too depressed to shower that day. They're still going to be there for you. The other love that they have is they've mastered the art of living in the moment. Have you ever, and this is okay, this is a safe space, but have you ever stepped on your cat's tail before? Immediately they're like, you are the worst thing that's ever happened to me. And they'll yell at you, and they'll run and hide, and they'll like, I'm never going to talk to you ever again. And then 2 minutes later, they're like, okay, I'm fine. Sometimes I think they're incapable of grudges, and maybe it's because they don't have the capacity mentally, or maybe it's just that they're better than us. I don't know. They teach us that it's okay to act in sadness and maybe even in anger and in joy when the moment is there, and when it's not there, then that feeling doesn't need to be there anymore. How healthy is that? Because I know if I went and stepped on any of your tails, you would remember it the next day. You probably think of me differently. But it's that sort of every moment is fresh and new attitude that cats have that I strive for. The other thing too is I have a little pro tip for you guys. I am a queer person. I am non-binary. If you are ever thinking of coming out, which some of you may be, or maybe you already have, my pro tip is that the very first person that you should come out to is your cat. Because it's guaranteed to go over at least neutrally. And that's what I did. The very first person before I told anybody else was my cat. My cat didn't really care much. And you know what? They didn't love me any less or any differently once I told them. They still wanted their wet food afterwards, and I gave it to them. To be able to hear and sit with people the way a cat does is so beautiful. That presentness that they have is what we strive for. And I'll tell you, I like to think that I have a good meditative practice, but nobody can sit and calm like a cat can. The way they can just sit and enjoy the sunlight. I don't know what's going on in their head, but I bet it's just, I'm just going to be here right now. They really are some of the greatest teachers that we have. And I say this whole thing not to say that everybody should get a cat and be like a cat and learn from the cat. The real lesson here is that the greatest lesson you can learn is how to pull lessons from everything. Maybe for you it's not your cat. Maybe for you it's something else. Maybe it's an activity or somebody you look up to, or maybe it's a dog. It's okay. But when you can pull lessons from everything around you, I think that's when you really got it. The best thing you can learn is how to learn, for sure. So I'm hoping that you all can go through this week and identify who are the cats in your life. What are the things in your life that you can really pull these lessons from? Maybe find comfort in. And if you can't find any, I have two for you. I'm sure at least one of them would like to meet you. The other one might need a little bit of ignoring up. And with that, I'm hoping we can sit a little bit and remember that right on the other side of this wall is a whole bunch of cats. We are lucky enough to share a wall with the Cat Cafe. And I'd like to think that both of these sides are equally sacred spaces. So hopefully at least a few of them are sitting with us as we prepare ourselves for meditation. would like to open the floor up for our period of joys and concerns. I guess I'll also allow space for neutral comments too. So if you have something you'd like to share, just raise your hand and we'll have a mic going around. That way they can hear you unlike the beginning of the service.
I'm going to try to talk without getting choked up, but this is a really timely service because tomorrow is my cat who passed away a little bit less than 2 months ago. It's her birthday tomorrow. And so thank you. That's all I can say.
Hello, good morning. My name is Braylon, and on Friday I celebrated 4 months of sobriety. And today I was also able to bring a friend for the first time service here.
I just wanted to say I agree with that person over there. My dog passed away at the end of June, and I miss her every day. And the service really moved because of her, you know. I'm gonna cry. Take the microphone.
Hi, my name is Vinny, and thank you so much for today's talk about cats. I love animals, like probably everybody here, and I want to say I used to live with 9 cats and 4 cats outside, and rescuing other cats and dogs. I would say probably my only teachers, or maybe not only, but the animals taught me everything. And because of them, just because of them, that simple, life is simple. So I became vegan, and I also became Buddhist.
My name is Angel Shanti Baba. I'm going to resist the urge to talk about my cat for an hour. I don't want to. But I do want to say I just really appreciate this, that my cat has, I've always been a dog person, but when I met Genghis, my cat, we like zinged, and he was my baby before I had a son, and now he takes care of my son. And he teaches my son how to step into his really caring, empathic side that is like complicated for boys at this stage in their life. So he's an excellent teacher, and I know that he will be my son's hardest loss. And it's really, I think they just teach us how to take care of beings who are helpless. And that's one of the most important things we can do. So thank you so much. That was a joy.
Good morning, Sangha. I come from Muskegon on Sundays, and so when I get to Grand Rapids, it's a big deal, right? It's like, ooh, right? And so this afternoon, I was going to go to the zoo, and I have feelings about the zoo, right? Sort of from the colonialist perspective. But then yesterday, I was like, yeah, but wouldn't it be nice to be given immaculate care and always fed a beautiful space to live in? I was like, not so bad. I want to just celebrate that the African pygmy hippo had a baby, and I'm the baby is not in public yet. It's still in its maternity space. But so I'm not going to get to see the baby hippo, who apparently is named Hugo today. But I am looking forward to one Sunday afternoon to see little Hugo.
You should bring him here. Do we have anybody online?
Please forgive me, I struggle to use these sometimes. But to go off of what, to piggyback off what a teaching you said earlier, I was always told this with, during my battle with depression, by one of my mentors. But they said that statistically, if you're lost in the woods, you're supposed to stay in one place because it's actually harder for your rescuers to find you if you're looking for them. So I think to go along with happiness, how do we know that happiness isn't also looking for us? And that we should just stay in one place, build a fire, and keep warm.
Okay, so this is coming from Jean Snyder. My name is Jean. I have a joy. Tomorrow my mom starts her new job after being unemployed for 3 months. I'm so thankful and proud of her for finding this next path. And I also have a concern of mine. I have a very good friend that I've been friends with for many years, even though we haven't been in close proximity to each other in a long time. We still communicate often. About a month ago, they started going to school while working full-time and supporting their family. And they've just been rather distant, I'm sure because they're very busy and stressed, and they're somehow acing school very easily. So yeah, I'm just worried about their health overall, and how they're handling things. I'm sure they're trying so hard. Yeah, just keeping your minds, that's all.
Anybody else? All right, why don't we take a few moments just to hold it on. I have some announcements. We do have an online meditation group that meets on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. They join via Zoom, and you can contact Venerable Kunga or see the newsletter for more information on that. We also have a Thursday Dharma discussion group that meets on Thursdays at 9:30 a.m. And right now they are discussing Zen and the Art of Saving the Planet by Thich Han. And you can get a hold of Reverend Jean Su or see the newsletter again for more information. Yesterday we did have our Fundamentals of Buddhism class, and I was very happy to be a part of that. And thank you for everybody that was there. So we'll let you know when we have another one coming up. Today, actually, we have our Buddhist Mutual Aid Sangha meeting. We'll be meeting after the service, roughly 11:30, or whenever we all kind of gather downstairs. And we are just trying to build a community within the temple and the immediate neighborhood, just to help support each other, whether that's emotional support or financial support or whatever else that we can do to kind of help with each other out. So if that sounds like something you want to be a part of, then you can meet with us today after the service. We also have a board meeting next Sunday, I believe, on the 19th. And that meets right after the service as well. I do know that we are still seeking some members of the board, so if that's something that you are interested in, even if you just want to attend the board meeting, to kind of see if it's something that might even apply to you or that you might like, I would suggest that you attend, and it is open to anybody. We also have our fall silent retreat that is going to be on Saturday, October 25th. And that is from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. We just ask that you register by the 24th, so the Friday before that. So these retreats are a way for all the teachers here to kind of help give a more in-depth kind of practice study of our particular practices, as well as just giving sort of all-day meditation retreat. It's usually a silent retreat. We also break it up a little bit, so it's not just 8 hours of meditation. We also sometimes put some word practice in there, walking meditation. We share a meal together and other things such as that. So, and then I mentioned before, but we have our Ulumbana Day potluck on October 26th. So I have a few things about this. It is a potluck, so you don't have to bring anything, but if you can, then that would be fantastic. We just ask that you kind of clearly mark any sort of allergens on the foods that you bring or the ingredients, because we do have people here that may have some food intolerances or allergies. And also, I know that a large portion of us here also practice a vegan or vegetarian lifestyle as well. So if that's something that you want to label, just to let us know so that we can accommodate those people. Also, this is a day of remembering those who have passed. So I would ask that you take some time in the next few weeks to just think of some people that you like to honor on that day, whether they be human or both. Doesn't have to be just one person. And if it makes sense to you, maybe bring an object or an item, something that represents that person. It could be a picture that we can kind of offer to our Jesus shrine. And it's usually a really good healing service. So I'm excited for that one, and I hope to see a lot of you there. We also have our Buddhist-based recovery meetings. They meet Mondays at 6:30 p.m. here at the temple, Wednesdays at 6:30 p.m. at the Alano Club, and Fridays at 10:05, and that is at the temple or over Zoom. And if you want more information on that, you can see the newsletter or get in contact with Joyce and Sue. Do we have any other announcements today? Yes.
Hey everyone, my name is Bob G. Kent, and I serve on our board of directors in the role of secretary. I'd like to announce or share the results of a recent online vote for Ethan Wright to join our board of directors. And I'm happy to report that the vote was 31 yes, 0 no. So congratulations to Ethan, and nice to have a lot voted. We also have 3 more candidates, and you'll see those emails come out over the next few weeks. So you have to be signed up for the newsletter to get those emails. So if you haven't signed up for the newsletter, see our website, zengr.org, to sign up. Thank you.
I'll also give the kind of the obligatory Dharma announcement as well. So we do operate completely through donation here at the temple. If you do have the means to donate financially, you can do that at either end of the temple. We have the black boxes for donation. They also have a QR code so that you can donate online. I think it's through PayPal, I believe. I also would like to say that that is only one way that you can donate to the temple. We have a whole group of people here known as the Dharma disciples that come in and kind of help the everyday kind of goings on of the temple. The seats that you're sitting in right now were neatly arranged this morning by people that were here to help. cleaning of the temple is all done through volunteer work. And so if you would like to connect to that, I do know that there is a notice at the front entrance too, if you'd like to join that. I believe there's another QR code that you can scan and get in contact with Nas and Skara for that. As well as we do have monthly temple cleanings that you could be a part of. Even just being here and helping us to build a community is really important too. So that's also a wonderful way to help. With that, why don't we stand and we will do our closing gathas together. It's on this time.
For all unskillful actions ever committed by me since of old, on account of my beginning with greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thoughts, now I atone for them all. Vast is the robe of compassion, a formless field of benefaction. I wear the Buddhist teachings for the benefit of all sentient beings. All beings, one body, I vow to liberate. Endless blind passion, I vow to uproot. Dharma gates without number, I vow to enter. The great way of Buddha, I vow to attain.
And if we could give a closing bow to one side, we'll meet the other. Thank you so much. If you could just make sure that we get all the chant books collected together. If you want to take a couple seconds just to straighten up the cushions as you found them. And we do have a space downstairs with some tea if you'd like to come.